All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Helbling Autumn Festival. And today is the day 5. And I'm so glad to see so many new friends and also our old friends. And if you are the one have attending more than one webinar, please send me the heart on the chat box so we get an idea you are our old timer now. Okay, so I'm going to start our session now. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Helbling Autumn Festival. I'm your host for today's webinar. My name is Catherine Shi. I'm the Academic Director for Helbling Mexico and Central America. And on the screen, you will see the Helbling team, our General Director, Kun van Landerhan, and also Ana Rosales. She is our co-host for today's chat box. Any questions, please write on the chat box. Please make sure you tick everyone when you write the chat so we can all see your chat. And now let me invite our General Director, Kun van Landerhan, to do the welcome.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to our 5th and last session. And as every other day, as Catherine already said, we see so many people from Mexico, Central America, and South America, and some other places around the world. So yes, we're very happy to see old friends, new friends, and that was the goal of this festival, getting together, getting inspired. So we carefully selected these topics for these 5 days. We had music with Robert Campbell, thinking with Jane Ravel, soft skills, and then collaboration yesterday with Lindsay Clanfield. And today we have our closing event with Jeremy Harmer talking about togetherness. Helbling is a cutting edge and award-winning publisher, and everything we do at the core has teachers and student success as our goal. Today and every year, people celebrate autumn. Autumn in Mexico is usually celebrated with the Day of the Dead, which just passed this last weekend. And it's a time of pumpkins and cinnamon and ponche and colorful festival in Mexico, which may not be as colorful in other places. No matter your culture, autumn is a celebration of getting together. For our friends in South America, of course, this is spring. And talking about spring, we hope to see you all back for the 2022 Spring Festival, which you will hear about later. So enjoy the session. This is your mental protein, and we really hope the last talk will also inspire you as everything else did. Over back to Catherine.
All right, now I have my microphone back. I will talk about today's schedule very quickly. So we will have our welcome, and then we will have 15 minutes of webinar by Jeremy, and followed by Q&A sessions, and then followed by a very exciting lucky draw. At 11:10, we will finish our session. We'll say goodbye to you, and you will get your digital certificate. Now let me talk about our speaker today, Jeremy Harmer. Okay, I'll wait for Jeremy. Also turn on his microphone, microphone and video. So Jeremy Harmer need very little introduction. Jeremy, if you can move to your page, that would be nice. So he is our author of Jetstream, American Jetstream, and story-based language teaching. Jeremy used to teach in Guadalajara and live in Mexico for a very, very long time. He's now currently live in Cambridge, but he has a great passion and love for Mexico food, culture, and people. And when I actually asked him, what do you miss most, apart from all the chilaquiles and the mole, he actually said his new love is the mole in Chiapas. Is it like mole poblano or something?
It's not
no, sorry. Jeremy told me he actually doesn't like banana, but he found out his new favorite mole has so much banana. So that is something he found is like a new discovery for him. And something new, some people know Jeremy, apart from writing a lot of nice English work, he's actually become a musician. He played guitars, and then during the pandemic, he also learned how to play double bass. We invite Jeremy to do a special topic today. It's about togetherness. because Jeremy is such a warm person, love Mexican culture, and we hope he can actually give us some inspiring ideas. How do we beating loneliness in this special time? And now let's all welcome Jeremy. Let's give him a big welcome, a virtual hand. Jeremy, now the microphone is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Catherine, and it's lovely to see everyone. I'm having a terrible time, I have to tell you, because I've been looking at everyone. We got people from Chiapas, people from Morelia, and Pachuca, and Merida, and Jalapa, and all sorts of places like that. And I'm just feeling so homesick. Well, it's not my home, but it sort of is my home as well. And so, you know, I'm very, very pleased to be here, but I'm sitting in cold Cambridge, Autumn Cambridge in the United Kingdom. And there's people saying, I'm in Tijuana, and then we've got people from Honduras and Guatemala, and there's someone, the Belizean people, and someone in Vancouver. And it's just, wow, what an incredible tribe. And best of all, not best of all, but super, super lovely. An old colleague of mine, Barbara Taylor, is here as well. I noticed from the chat, and we worked together in Guadalajara, pero hace un montón de años. It was a long, long time ago. So the topic, beating loneliness. Well, this is the little song about loneliness that I know, and see what you think of this. Please understand, my love, what I say. I am lonely, I am lost, and though I am a young man, my body does decay. Like a wooden craft on a sandy bay. Come bring to me a basket filled up to the brim with colored shells, and set them down that I may choose but one. I am lonely, I am lost. Please understand, my love, what I say. I am lonely, I am lost, and though I am a young man, my body does decay. Like a wooden craft on a sandy bay. Come bring to me a basket filled up to the brim with colored shells, that I may choose but one. I am lonely, I am lost, I am lonely, I am lost, I am lonely. Well, now, why did I start with a song? Because when suddenly, out of the blue, you find yourself shut in your house, and you can't go out. And if you live alone, you really are alone. You tend to feel pretty damn lonely. And that song, which I think is a beautiful little song, but it's not a happy song. It's a very sad song. And I sang it because this man that you can see on the screen, Bert Jansch, when I was at university, which was not yesterday, when I was at university, I used to play in the University Folk Club, and suddenly this guy was sitting in front of me playing, and he changed my guitar playing forever. I got to meet him and talk to him. He was a great, great musician, a man called Bert Jansch. Look him up if you want. You'll find, you can Google him and all sorts of things like that. A Scottish musician, and I don't know whether he's English or Scottish, but certainly from over this side of the world. And I just think he's wonderful. And that's one of his little songs, and it's a sad little song. And loneliness can be very, very sad. Of course it can. We know that. And when we lose people or when we're on our own, it can be very, very sad. And something that's happened in this terrible, terrible time we've been living through is that some people have been very lonely. On the other hand, loneliness doesn't always have to be terribly sad, or solitude doesn't have to be sad. I wonder if you can tell me, does anybody know who this man is or was? Thank you, Jose Dionisio. I've just read your comment. This is a very, very famous Englishman from the 18th century. Anyone know who he is? Just looking at the chat box to see if anyone can tell who he is. There's no reason why you should know. That's not nope. I think that means nope. Well, I tell you what, this might help. No, it's definitely not Putin. Of course, there's no reason why you should have any idea. Oh, Taylor Coleridge. Well, you're sort of getting closer in terms of the kind of person we're talking about. This will help. This will help. Here's a little task for you. This is a poem that this man wrote. Very, very famous poem he wrote if you went to school in England, or if you're English. And just a simple little fill-in that you see the words on the left, and you have to put the words, match the words with the numbered blank. So would you start doing that, please? And let's see in the chat how you get on, how easy it is to do that. So thank you very much, Anna Karen. It is indeed William Wordsworth. I wandered lonely as a breeze, maybe. Aha, that looks right. Cloud. Rebecca, I think, was the first person to say that. Floor. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd. You're on it, crowd, because it rhymes with cloud. A host of golden, oh no, there's no word for this. But Laura knows this. A host of golden daffodils beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze, Samuel. Yeah, that's right. There we go. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. They stretched in never-ending lines. Samuel's on a roll. Samuel is on a roll here. Lines along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. It's just as I said. This line, I wandered lonely as a cloud. These lines that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. It's kind of terribly well known here. Dance, dance, Maria Dolores and Andes Reyes. Yeah, look, that's good fun. Dance, dance. And the poem goes on. Forgive me, I've got typical English autumn cold, you know. The waves beside them danced, but they, that's the daffodils, outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay. Now, let's be quite clear. Gay here doesn't mean you love someone of the same gender as you. It means happy in this 18th century meaning. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company, jocund, happy, cheerful. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. And it's freezing in Toluca. Wow, how about that? Beautiful Toluca. I remember years and years ago in Toluca, the best, and I'm not going to talk about it, but it was the canteen in the Escuela Normal Superior in aquel entonces, and boy, the guys who ran the canteen there were absolutely. Anyways, stay on topic, Jeremy. Stay on topic. Okay. So here's a little. So here is a little final task for you. This is the last verse of this poem. For oft, when on my couch I lie, then how do you complete that? Put those lines in the right order. See if we can do that. Just put those lines in the right order. What's the order? Is it A, B, C, D, E, or what is it? Let's see. Denise thinks she knows. Why'd you say chorizo? These are the important questions. That's right. B, B, E, B, C, E, A, C, E, D, A, B, C, E, D. Aha. Now, I don't know what you think, but we are all alone in a sense. I'm alone. I'm sitting here alone, and the only voice I can hear is my voice. And so you could say that I was pretty miserable, but I can sense just by looking at the chat box that I'm not alone. We're all doing something together, and it's rather wonderful. There's a there's a wonderful sense already, strangely, of community in what's going on. Looking at the chat box, the order actually is, as Denise said right at the beginning. Let's hear it for Denise. Yeah, it's CEDBA, obviously. So for oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, which is the bliss of solitude, they flash upon that inward eye. Wait, I've got it wrong. For oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they, that's the daffodils, flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. Here we go. For oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. It's however many times you hear that poem or you read it, it still fills you with joy. It's one of the most beautiful poems ever written. And I started with a really sad song, and then we went on to this, which is to say that solitude is not always a terrible thing. And here's the poet saying, look, it's the bliss of solitude, the bliss. And many people have found in lockdown some amazing things for them. Lockdown has been absolutely dreadful for so many people. I don't want to go on about it because we're here to enjoy ourselves, but this wretched COVID thing, I'm back in California Sur. Oh yeah, and I want to go and see the whales. Yes, Raul. this COVID thing's been an absolute, it's a nightmare, isn't it? People dying on their own, people losing loved ones, people being isolated and stuff like that. There's no question about it, and no one would have wished this. It's the most terrible thing, and you know, even for someone as old as me, I can't remember such a terrible thing before. And loneliness is loneliness. But loneliness is not always negative, and some things about lockdown have been, I'm not going to say positive, that's way too strong, but they have allowed the bliss of solitude, a chance to reflect, a chance to think about what's going on. Of course, that was William Wordsworth. Oh yes, I remember coming to San Cristobal in 2010. It's lovely to see you, Robert. This is kind of typical BBC News. I craved human touch after months of no hugs. The one thing, I guess, bye Maria Fatima. I guess the one thing, is it possible to say that the one good thing about lockdown is it happened in 2020 and not 1920 or something, because we did have Zoom and we had teaching online. We had ways of getting together with people. We could talk to our grandchildren or our grandparents. We could talk to people way across the sea, just as we're doing right now. We could watch things and listen to things and be in touch. I guess we've been lucky about that. And teaching online, well, there's no question about it that when it started, when it, oh, I want to come back to Colima, I love Colima. When it started teaching online, a lot of teachers were very freaked out. It was a big shock to the system. People going, how do I do this? How do I put people in breakout rooms? What's going on? Help, help, help. And the technology wasn't really working, and people were having trouble with this button and that button and these controls and this set. Yes, Tony, I think that's a really good expression. We were in a frenzy. It was just absolute chaos. It just complete kind of mostly fracasso and everything. It's just completely insane for a bit. But what's clear is that gradually things settled down and started to change, because people got, yes, Anna Elba, we are still alive. And Samuel, you got it absolutely right. It was a new learning experience, but the best kind of life you ever lead is a learning life, where you're challenged and where you're forced to go the extra mile, where you're forced to do more things. And it is still a process, Patricia. It's all of those things, but it's kind of good. It did go wrong, didn't it? Sometimes it went really wrong. Why did it go wrong? Well, because I think a lot of people, Jessica says a surviving experience. Bueno, depende de su suerte, but yes, of course, it was a surviving experience and a challenge. And yes, Maria, we learned a lot. What went wrong? Well, sometimes it went wrong because classroom management has been an absolute nightmare. It still is. Breakout rooms and this, that, and the other, getting people to do this and getting students to pay attention, getting students on task, keeping students on task, and that kind of thing. I think at the beginning, and I don't blame anyone for this, there was a lot of careless transplanting, thinking you could transplant classroom, face-to-face classroom stuff online, and careless. I don't mean teachers don't care. I just mean it doesn't work. Well, it doesn't work on its own. You have to do other things with it. What we do face-to-face, what we did face-to-face, yeah, not so good. And tremendous problems with lack of student involvement, students off task, their cameras off. And maybe that's all to do with, yes, Maria Florencia, it has absolutely opened new ways of teaching, which is what we're talking about now. It turned out that it's all about content and activity and task focus and participation. It's what it's taught me is that the technical aspects of the English language, the grammar and the third person singular, the present simple, yeah, they're all important, and the fill-ins and all that kind of stuff. Well, yeah, that's not it. What is it is the content that brings students out of the screen into your classroom. It's about engaging students, even though they're on a screen, on a computer, on an iPhone, what it is. It's about finding the right activities that work online. It's about finding the right kind of tasks, because you can't just do the same kind of tasks as you did before. And above all, it's about welfare. Please excuse all the coughing. I've got, as I said, an English autumn cold. It's about welfare. Teachers are having a really rough time teaching from dawn till dusk, sitting at their screens. It's relentless, and we need to learn how to do that. So what I thought I'd do is to talk about the things that have been done, that can, yes, somebody got exactly my point, Roberto Teo, the creativity. I think I wouldn't wish lockdown on any humans of any age or time or place. But there has been, in my experience and talking to teachers around the world, the most incredible flowering of creativity, people doing the most amazing things. Yes, Manuel is right. If all you can see is your family, the divorce rate in England has soared during lockdown. I'm sure in Mexico ustedes son mucho más, and all the other places. But no, it's been quite a problem. So let's talk about some of the things that have been done and can be done, which have yes, Doris, new ways of communicating. So, for example, one of the most amazing things that teaching online has given us is exactly what's happening now, which is the chat box. Now, the chat box can get out of control, students saying silly things and so on. But the fact that you've got that second line of communication is so extraordinary. The chat box allows students to write and speak. It allows students to reach out to each other. It can allow you to communicate with individual students who are having trouble in a way that you never can in a face-to-face class, or it's much more difficult. The chat box allows you to have, if you like, bimodal kind of teaching. And yes, we could do that in in face-to-face class, and with technology, you can use things like that. Oh, Anna, I'm sorry you have to go, but it's going to be recording, as you say, and I hope you enjoy it. So the chat box has been an incredible, liberating channel of communication, and it's not. The chat box hasn't been a terrible thing. It's been a wonderful thing. And sometimes we need to remember that. In a course that I've co-written with Jane Ravel, who many of you will have seen the other day, we talk about something called Everybody Up. And Everybody Up is very much something that Jane Ravel is passionate about, because what she says is there have to be moments in class where students actually come out from their seats and all huddle together in groups and talk together about something. An example I quote from our intermediate book is where we get students in groups to talk about if anyone plays a musical instrument and where did they learn it, how long have they been learning it, or if nobody plays a musical instrument, What musical instrument would they like to play, etc., etc. And you get these incredible conversations going. And because everybody's standing up and in a huddle, it's better than pair work and so on. And you can achieve that online as well with a mixture of the people in their little rectangles and the chat box going together. Incredible togetherness. Martin is saying, we've had to do all this. Of course, Anna Marie, we can put students in breakout rooms, but even with the whole class, and the breakout rooms, you get students to talk to each other, and they can. It's just, I'm being rather incoherent. It's probably because of all the medication I'm taking, but this is things that people have learned how to maximize, so that something that we thought was specifically to do with classrooms, you can actually do online as well. Yippee. Something that's been absolutely fascinating. I have a friend here in the UK, and she's like me, a folk singer, and she likes folk music. And she got her students to interview a famous folk singer. And you can do that online, because the famous folk singer was prepared to give 40 minutes of her time. But she didn't have to get in a car or on a plane or a train. And the students got to learn about this folk singer. They got to write her an invitation. They got to read about her. They got to ask her questions. They got then to summarize what they'd heard and discuss it. They got to listen to her. Then they got to write the letters thanking her for coming along. The most incredible project. So much easier to do online than face to face. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Jessica, Henry Ford. Something, by the way, that concerns me about our locked in world is how we stay in touch, how we stay connected. And even before lockdown, and this is to do with Facebook, nothing to do with teaching, except it is. On a Facebook group I know is called The Night Shift, and people would post their favorite songs and explain why they like them, and little sort of videos of their favorite songs and things like that. What a way of staying together and being together, which you can do because we live in an online world as well as a physical world. And isn't that incredible? And even before that, way down in the Cono Sur in Argentina, a woman called Vicky Sarmel years ago with her teenage students in Buenos Aires, she got them to use, to tell little stories using, they went off and they got, I'm so sorry, they got Van Gogh pictures from Amsterdam online, and they used them to invent this terribly sad story which they told together. Wow, things you can do online. Incredible. And they're a way, they break down the barriers, they break down the loneliness, they get people together, even though they're stuck in their houses, in their apartamentos or wherever they are. What about the things that can be done? Well, oh yeah, thanks, Anna. That's a very good point. The thing about using the chat box, by the way, that I've discovered from sort of, what is it now, 19, 20 months of using chat boxes, is you have to remember to click everyone so that everyone can read them. You have to make really sure that if you're sending a direct message, you don't share it with everybody, because things can go terribly wrong. I once sent to a group of musicians I was working with, I once sent a comment to everyone, which was meant to be just to someone about somebody. So what about things that can be done? Well, we think, I'll try and keep going because I've got lots I want to say. We think, water's a good idea. Yeah, Maria Florencia, we're on the same page. This is a lovely glass from Mexico. I can't remember. I think it was bought in Ciudad de Mexico, but it's very nice Mexican glass. One of the things that we think really works in face-to-face classrooms is getting students to research and play, research and present together. If you make students present together where they all have a responsibility for the presentation, well, it provokes student involvement, and most students, thank you, Blanca, it involves most students together. Well, we can do that online as well. I've lost it. Eliciting, where's it gone? Oh, I can't. But getting students to present jointly, this means that you can say to students, you're in charge of this. Tequila, no, there's a word I like. You're in charge of finding this out. You're in charge of finding that out. They can communicate outside the classroom on email, and then do the joint presentation, sharing their screen as we're doing now. You can, for example, tell students a story online. I've done a book with Herbert Buchter, which is in the Helbling series, and which is published by Helbling. And we're passionate about telling stories as a way of engaging students. Getting students to retell those stories from the point of view of another character. Getting students to interview characters from the story, and so on. Nicholas, my slides are small. Oh, looks enormous on my screen, but then my screen's very big. Then there's the wonderful thing about the sentence by sentence technique, where do you remember in class we used to do this thing where you fold over a little bit of paper. It's called consequences in English, isn't it? And where they sort of build up stories. But you can do that with the chat box, live students, then the chat box doing that together. It's absolutely wonderful. By the way, I hope you're recording this, Catherine, because this is some of the greatest advice for curing a cough and a cold that has ever been received. It's all here coming through. Then another thing that we get very keen on in Jetstream is the concept of suitcase language. And what we mean by suitcase language is this, that when students read a text, come across something new, we often tell them what words they should learn, or we draw their attention to the words that we think they should concentrate on. But actually, how about saying to them, why don't you decide what words you want to pay attention to? Why don't you select the words that you're going to focus on? Why don't you say which words, which phrases or words in this text, which phrases or words do you want, 3 phrases or words from this text that you want to put in your suitcase and take home with you? Not the same as the guy sitting next to you, or the guy sitting on the other side, the woman sitting on the other side. Not what your teacher's telling you. Why don't you decide what words and phrases you want to learn, you want to take home, you want to make part of your English? It's a way of saying to students, look, this is the language that you're learning. Yeah, Patricia, they find their own voice, and it's not just their own. Yes, it is their own voice. It's their own. They feel important, but more than anything else, they feel like they're the ones who matter, because it's the learners who matter in our classrooms. I'd love to be the best teacher in the world, but in the end, that's not important. What's important is whether the students learn. So that's the, and they feel more involved, Doris. Yeah, that's exactly right. All of those things you're saying are true. there was a very good article, and I can't remember the reference now, a few years ago in ELT Journal, and it's a Japanese university. They got students to bring in phrases and things they'd found in English, and they got them to bring them to the class, and so the class built up their own lexicon, their own dictionary, if you like, their own student-generated lexicon. So I've made a list of things that have been done and can be done, and there are many more to go. And in a minute, I'm hoping the chat box will fill with your ideas. But there's one last category I want to mention, see if I can get through it without ruining your lives by coughing at you all the time. What should be done? Well, here's some things that I think should be done online. And the most important thing is to develop community. I tell you what I've learned in lockdown. What I've learned in lockdown is community is really important. You have to build a community, create a community. And it's taught me that maybe one of the things I didn't concentrate enough on in my face-to-face teaching was making sure that a group is a community. That a group functions as a community. That yes, a community of practice, Magdalena, and it's not just the students, it's the students and teachers together as one self-supporting unit. Hello, Eduardo, welcome. Rapport is sort of it. But I think it's more than rapport. It's about the community as almost as a being, almost as an animal. How do you do that? Well, you do it by using the chat box and messaging and WhatsApping and things like that. What we've discovered in lockdown is we need to spend more time reaching out to students than we did perhaps in face-to-face teaching. Because we've been existing in a kind of lockdown world, that's what we've had to do. It's the only way we've been able to get some students to turn their cameras on, or get some students to be with us, or if you like, to stop them being lonely, like that first song was sort of rather miserable and lonely, but saying actually you're part of a community. Because what we've learned that we need to do is how to care for and between individuals, not just the teacher reaching out to individual students, but getting individual students to reach out to other individual students. If someone's having a problem, asking another student to reach out to them and talk to them. Having students, they need to feel we care, and we need to somehow, Alicia, but we also need, will you excuse me 2 seconds? Hold on. I'll be back in a minute. I'm not going away, but I'm trying not to ruin your lives. I'll be with you in 2 seconds. Right, let's see if that works. The nice thing about having a fairly small house is that I could do that very quickly. I do apologize. I don't normally, I can't remember any presentation before where I've had to rush out. And Fernando mentions caring and sharing, the old Gertrude Moskowitz book. And yes, but I want to make it more than that, because caring and sharing was all about getting students to talk about what they loved and so on and so forth. And some people used to mock it a little bit, I think. I'm talking about genuine reaching out, as I said, between and for individuals. A real issue for all of us in lockdown has been welfare. The welfare of teachers I mentioned before, because I think some teachers have had a really horrible time, you know, just sitting in front of a screen all day. Oh, Alejandro, I want to come to Guadalajara. I haven't been to Guadalajara for far too long. The weather there is nice. We need to care. People in charge of teachers need to care for them. Empathy is the word, Jose Ventura. I think it's Jose Ventura Chavez. Teachers need to be reached out to. They need to be given times, even online, to have breaks. And so on. All of these things are important. But the really big thing for me is to do with content and activity. That what being online has taught us is it's the content of what we're doing with them and the activities we ask them to do that means there's a chance that they'll stay with us. In classroom, we can often fall back on and rely on the sort of classroom things that we do as teachers, but online you can't do that. You can't, if you like, corral a group of students into behaving. Thank you, Julio. But online, if the content isn't interesting, if the task is the wrong task, we're in trouble. I'm going to stop in a minute so I can have a nice big cough and then come back for some questions and answers. And I really want to apologize an awful lot. Because the sound of someone coughing all the time is not fun. It's horrible. It's an ugly sound, and I'm really sorry. Quiero disculparme frente a ustedes, but que no puedo hacer nada. But there we are. So look. How do I end this? Well, I just end up with saying that perhaps the three biggest things in everything I've said. No, that's not true. The really big things on a kind of methodological sense, the methodological level is the CAT, the content, the activity, and the task. But I remember 2 or 3 years ago when I was at a conference in Santiago de Chile. I was on a panel and there were people there from all over America Latina, and someone said, what advice would you give to a brand new teacher in a new school? And I said, well, find someone, get a buddy, find a buddy, get a friend, someone you can rely on, someone you can share with, and all that kind of thing. And that's why when I saw this cartoon, it made me laugh, and that's what I'll leave you with. There you are. Anyone who's ever put socks inside a washing machine will understand this cartoon very well. It makes me laugh anyway. So there we are. Now listen, Catherine, and thank you very much, by the way. You're all being terribly nice to me. You shouldn't be, because I've been making a horrible noise, but
okay, thank you very much, Jeremy. I'm so grateful you still put it through when you feel so not 100%. And thank you very much, Jeremy. I think this is really a nice session to really bring people together. And as John Donne says, no man is an island. Every man is a piece of continent. You do make us all link together today. And people from different continents, from different, well, you are in England and we are in Mexico, and there are so many teachers from different states, and we all join together. And that is a beginning of the togetherness. We don't feel alone, and we actually can see Jeremy far away and online. And so thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to give Kun the Q&A session. So I'm going to disappear for a while. When Kun asks questions, you can have a bit break. Okay.
Okay, Jeremy. Well, that was a great session, as Catherine said, and there were so many comments. I think the main thing, actually, what you achieved with this was the concept of community building, which was also the reason why we had this event at the end of the day. Community building, but above all, caring. It's not just a communality. We all go through the same kind of problems, which has been an amazing challenge for everybody. But the caring, I think, has come to the surface more than ever. And in your talk, this is a great thing you mentioned. The other thing that people are always concerned about and ask about is student engagement as one of their major challenges. So maybe, can you talk a bit more about the storytelling and how that can help?
Yes, of course. The wonderful thing about storytelling is that it works, especially when it's a shared experience. If I can get all of you as a group together to experience this story, I'm going to tell you a story, and you're all going to be unbelievably drawn into the story. Then we're going to share our reactions to the story, and we're going to do activities together. You're going to talk in groups and pairs, whether it's online or face to face. Well, straight away, you're building a kind of story community. And there are lots of techniques for storytellers to make the people listening to a story part of the community. So, for example, lots of professional storytellers, California, or is that Baja California or California, Virginia. Anyway, but so lots of storytellers have tricks where they they start a story, and then for example, there's one which is used in Santa Lucia in the West Indies, and I start telling a story, and then I go crick, and every time I go crick, you have to go crack. So I start telling a story, I go crick, and everyone goes crack, crick, crack, and it makes everyone part of this group, part of this little community of story experiencing, if you like, and that's something that thank you, Ignacio, and Isuka de Matamoros. Sorry, Kun, it's very rude of me, but it's kind of lots of stuff. So that would be one of the ways that storytelling does that. Then there are ways of passing around stories around a group, or getting the group to listen to everyone else's stories and sharing their own stories of their own lives and things like that. That's all a way, it seems to me, of building community in that sense. And it's to some extent, I don't want to make too big a thing of this. It's more community than when you're getting students to make 6 sentences with the present simple or something, which is a perfectly legitimate thing to do, but doesn't have the same sense of group together.
I would agree that storytelling is probably one of the most powerful tools we have as humans to get together and get this feeling of community. Now, the other thing, you mentioned something about suitcase language, and a lot of teachers started commenting on this, and mainly, they see it as, well, this is something really great for learner autonomy. Any suggestions on how we can do more of that in our online teaching?
Yes, indeed. I think, and I'd go back to what I said about the guy in Japan getting the students to do this, is this idea that you can say to students, look, bring me the language you found, bring it to me. We'll build up our sort of class dictionary, our individual class dictionary, our individual lexicon. I think that almost anything, anytime you do a lesson, anytime you tell a story, anytime you read a text, you've got the chance there to say to people, what 3 words do you like best? What 3 phrases do you like best? What do you want to put in your suitcase? It's just a way of making them consumers, but active consumers in the whole process. Thank you, Leticia, it's very kind. Making them active consumers of the language, and not just people having language done to them, but actually doing the language themselves, you know, that kind of thing.
Okay, we're going to cut you short here because you're really suffering. You need either some tequila or some chilaquiles. We'll pass the mic back to Catherine for her closing and her lucky draw.
Okay. All right, Jeremy, thank you very much. So I'm going to do a very quick introduction for what Jeremy tried to do, but because it's very coughing, so I will just introduce American Jetstream. And American Jetstream is Jeremy's baby, 6 levels course, and it includes learner autonomy, memory training, clear content, and online homework and mobile learning. And as all the examples Jeremy had just mentioned, they all come from American Jetstream, that including everybody up and the project, the collaborations. And what we are going to give all the attendees today is you will receive a 14-day free platform access for American Jetstream. That including ebook plus, you have an interactive student book. Inside you can see all the content and for 14 days. And it also includes cyber homework, pronunciation, clear project. As we mentioned, the collaboration is very important, and the exam practice. Also in the mobile app, when you enter the code we gave you, you will be able to see all the video and audio on your mobile phone. For teachers, if you actually have a headache of preparing all the online exams, American Jetstream now have the online unit test, placement test, and final midterm and final exams. So this is the present from Jeremy and us for you today. And now I'm going to give you the very exciting moment is the lucky draw. So Jeremy is with us still. So he is going to announce the winner. And let's look at the prize first. Okay, the prize is, as you, if you have attended more than one session, you know we give away 45 e-readers in this Autumn Festival, including classic reader and original readers, and they range from A1 to B2. Today's prize from Jeremy, they are Peter Pan, The Picture of Dorian Gray, The Boy Who Can Fly. All these readers you can access on your computer and your mobile phone. It comes with audio and has online homework and also downloadable Cambridge exam preparation sheet. So now Jeremy is going to announce the winner. Here we go. The first one.
3, 2. It is Jose Luis Urbina Hurtado. Jose Luis, congratulations.
Hey, Jose Luis.
3, 2, 1. This is Andres Sepulveda. Hooray! Hooray!
Andres, congratulations.
And finally, 3, 2, 1. Maria del Pilar and Lerma Trujillo. Well done, Maria del Pilar.
Maria del Pilar, congratulations.
Congratulations. Okay, 3 lucky teachers, you will receive our 3 leaders. Our Helbling team will contact you after the event. You receive the email and with all the guides. All the teachers who attend our event today, you will receive a certificate of attendance signed by Jeremy. And next to the signature, you can see there's a QR code. When you receive this certificate, you can also scan the QR code with your mobile phone. Then it will help you to share this certificate on your LinkedIn, your Twitter, your Facebook. You can tell all your friends you just attend Jeremy's session. Okay, so before we end this session, let's give our speaker a big hand to say thank you. Okay, so virtual hand. Thank you very much, Jeremy.
Thank you, Jeremy. Be
Thank
well.
you. I will be well. Thank you very much. And thank you, Helbling, very much for this whole series of seminars. What a wonderful thing to do for everybody, because that's what being together is all about. Thank you very much.
We'll get together in the spring.
Yeah.
Ojalá.
And if we can see you in person, we'll definitely give you a tequila with lemons to heal.
Yes. Or even without the lemon, you know, just the tequila. Anyway,
Just the tequila.
see you later, guys. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye, Jeremy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Thank you very much. This is the end of our Helbling Autumn Festival. and we want to say thank you very much for your participation and your support and all your nice comments, and we are very grateful. And this is our first time to run a big autumn event, and we get so much nice feedback, so we will do a spring event. So we will say thank you, and we will see you in spring.
Very quickly, I would like to say thank you to the whole Helbling team for all the effort they put in to make this all happen. And let's work again on our spring festival. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, thank you.